we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 91 of The Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. So today, I am coming to you from my secret underground lair, where I have 5 minutes to get some thoughts together. And of course, I really don't have a whole lot in the way of what anyone could call prep. But like a gay dude destined for disease, I am out here with pretty much no prep. Yeah, there's, as always, man, the weird shit continues. So there's some good shit, there's some bad shit in terms of, like, what can I hassle you in particular about this week? Man, there's just so much bad noise out there. I mean, it's almost, you almost don't know whether to tell a guy to just like, hey man, speak your mind, go hog wild, or to really hunker down and keep your powder dry, in the metaphorical Minecraft sense. But I guess that does sort of answer the question. Like, if you're not completely sure what you should do, you should probably just hold still and lay low for a while. But we'll get to more of that forthwith. So maybe a little around the world news type shit. I saw a few things going on out there. One of the first things I saw that was, I don't know, I want to say encouraging, was that I see that the UN has granted a seat or has recognized Palestine, which is, again, like I didn't leave my fucking wallet in Palestine, but it is nice to see these sideloxes getting it broke off in their ass. And, well, before we continue, so I guess there's also a resolution that got passed that Israel would cease and desist and vacate all Palestinian land or area or whatever within 12 months. So I thought that was kind of cool insofar as like, all right, we recognize these people. You fucking jerks are out. You're fucking out of here. Get out. You got to go. I'm sure that chaps their ass to no end. But what I think is a little cooler is the fact that this really puts these Israelis up against it. That puts them in a really, really tight spot, I think. Because what happens now is like, you can't, where I think they were before was that like you could just be here and now it's basically yours. And all this shit that you'd see with like, these bought off characters, this Newt Gingrich and what have you, where they're like, we're Palestinians. There's no such thing. There's just no such thing. I got paid to say that there's no such thing. Okay, there's no such thing, man. Great. But now that there is such thing, like maybe there wasn't yesterday, like there used to be Yugoslavia. Now there's not. And there used to be not Palestine, but now there is. So now there is. But where does that leave Israel? Like before, you could have been like, yeah, dude, there never was such a place. You could really see them saying that. Like just roll right in and just like, yeah, no, there was never any such thing. No such thing. No such animal. Never happened. That's a figment. It's a figment of your Gentile imagination. And now we have this land and we can do whatever the hell we want. And at that point, it's like, they already burned their victim card. Like that shit is off the table. The U.S. is fading. Like, we don't have to count on them so much no more. We have our very own state. We can strong arm everybody. Everybody else is kind of on their ass. It's the all us show now. But this kind of puts their nuts in a vice, as it were, insofar as, well, no, that is actually somebody else's place that you're fucking around in, and you got 12 months to get the fuck out. So once people get back in there, and I have no doubt that there will be like a UN aid effort, which, and again, who's going to pay for that? You're going to pay for that. You pay for everything. Get used to the idea, I guess, right? But there's going to be a UN aid effort. And when they get back in there, because before it was like you're taking somebody's house and like I could do what I want in here, man. Like I take all the paint off the walls. I bury somebody in the basement. It doesn't matter. You're never coming in here. It's mine. Like that other family that was here, they never existed. There was no other family. This has always been my house, right? It was always mine. God promised it to me. But now UN's going to show up in there. They're going to be helping out. And when they find some of this shit that's been rumored to be there, I mean, how many hospitals are you going to find with like you just sick invalid people that a building is collapsed on them? Are you going to find mass graves? I understand that there have been some. And I mean, again, I'm trying to take this shit with a grain of salt, but you can't just fucking carpet bomb a fucking place and expect there not to be some fucked up shit that people find. So I think you get some of these UN types, these, peace-loving diplomatic sorts in there, you're going to find some really fucked up shit. Probably a lot of people with bullet holes in the back of their heads, bullet holes in their knees. All right, that shit's not going to wash off. All right, so now you will legit be looking, I would like to think, be looking at war crimes charges in this business of like, oh, world's greatest victim, oh my God. Like, no, that shit's gone. You're going to have to actually behave in a fucking half-civil manner. Now, which, as you know, isn't going to fucking last. I mean, they're going to keep working to get a stranglehold on everybody like they got a stranglehold on this fucked up country. But what I have seen that's encouraging apart from that is Germany, I guess, is stopping weapons shipments to Israel, which, I mean, why was that shit going on? I mean, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, how are you sending? How do you look at some of this shit that you see and like, oh, let's give them some more weapons? Like, tell me that you're not strong armed. Like, blink twice if Mossad has you by the balls. It's fucking crazy. Moving on though, a little more. I mean, they see a little bit more of this Israel business. They're talking heavy, man, about like we're gonna get it on. We're going after Hezbollah in Lebanon. And say what you will. I mean, I'll tell you what I see about these Muslim organizations. The gamesmanship involved in like the borders established and recognized in the Western world, they don't see that shit the same way. Like your line in the sand is not their line in the sand. Like it don't fucking matter to them. It's Lebanon, it's fucking Syria, it's Israel, whatever the fuck, man. It doesn't seem to matter to them. So to me and you, when you're like, oh, you stage in Lebanon, but you operate, in and out of Syria, in and out of Israel, doing your thing, and whichever side of this you're on, it doesn't really matter. It's still, there's the gamesmanship. I mean, you see that everywhere. We saw it in Afghanistan, saw it in Iraq. We see it here. We see it in the north. Like, you think these fuckers are on the border with Canada by accident? Do you think a lot of these cartels are operating on the southern border with Mexico by accident? No. It's because we recognize these borders. It's a rule we play by, but they don't play by. So you've got your Hezbollah in Lebanon, and they're staged out of there. They can strike into Israel. But now when Israel goes in there, Lebanon and or Hezbollah can say, hey, this is our fucking country. You can't just cruise in here. There's a fucking line in the sand right there. That puts Israel in a spot because now it's got to be like, well, no, if you want to play by these savage fucking rules, okay, well, then you're just another savage out here with these other savages shooting at each other. All right, and then that's your problem. You don't need my fucking tax dollars to do it, right? But if you want to be like a recognized, respected, we're the most peaceful and moral army on the planet. If you want to do this song and dance, you're going to have to play by these fucking rules. We had to play by those fucking rules. I didn't dig it. I want to be able to chase dudes wherever. But this is the news. Like, these are the rules we play by. Okay. But now Israel hitting hard and talking now about they want to execute a proper invasion into Lebanon. And I guess, what's that boy's name? Austin dipshit. Lloyd Austin. I want to say Austin Milbarge. We'll just call him SecDef Milbarge, This guy, I guess, just put out that military action, like proper military action from Israel into Lebanon is imminent. And prior to that, I had seen that they were talking about, hey, man, please don't do this. Please don't do this before the election. Just let it fucking sit, man. Please just let it sit. I think it's fucking, it's enthralling, dude. It's fantastic because I'll tell you why this gets me so fucking pumped. If, Israel wants to go into Lebanon and they want to chase down Hezbollah, obviously we all know what we would prefer to happen if, Hezbollah gets like confronted even more by Israel. I'd like to see the glass parking lot inbound, right? That naturally means that Iran's going to get involved. And when Iran gets involved, that naturally means the U.S. is going to get involved because this is a paid employee of Israel, long and short, and we kind of all know this. But what's so comic about this to me is like the U.S. doesn't want this right now. This is like the last thing we need right now, right? I mean, if you're the idiots in DC, like you've got on paper anyway, you've got a senile old man that it ain't a fucking secret at this point. I mean, if Democrats and all of his support base is willing to step out there and say, oh, yeah, it does seem like there's some cognitive decline. Yeah, it does seem like he's slipping a little bit. If that's what they're willing to admit, I mean, it's been obvious since the day he took office. This guy cannot form a fucking sentence. This guy has lost more than a step. Like, this guy ain't even standing upright, right? It's that obvious to us since day one, and now they're finally willing to step out and admit that, like, okay, yeah, you kind of, nobody told me, though. That's the thing. I didn't really know this whole time. It's a surprise to me, too. I wish somebody would have said something. This is what they're willing to admit now. If it's this bad, like, you're forced to admit this much, how much is still happening behind closed doors? Like, this guy probably is shitting his pants, and, like, it really is, the mustard is off the fucking hot dog. So if that's the guy that's on paper legit running the show, and his number two is this bumbling fuckstick ghetto pigeon of a side piece. Dude, I can't get enough of this woman, man. There's so much great shit going on. This silly bitch, dude. I didn't really have 2 cents so much on the debate, man. I really expected her to go out there and just fuck this whole thing up. But she went out there with a lot of really, I'll give it to her, like, she had that shit memorized, dude. Her little frozen chunk talking points, like, she had that shit wired tight, and she was able to spit it out on command. She did a great job of making the little, oh, honey, baby, oh, boo-boo child, that fucking face that smug bitches make, when they're trying to be condescending to you. She did a great job of making that fucking face the entire fucking time. She did a great job of not running her dick holster about, well, I'm talking, no, that ain't true. That ain't true. They just stood there smug, kept that stupid fucking face on, like she was prepped real fucking nice. All right. And then these two fucking jamokes running this thing, like they certainly played their part. They fact checked the shit out of the Zion Dawn. Zion Dawn, for his part, I honestly think that guy came in expecting her to fuck up as bad as like we all expected her to fuck up. And that guy came out here and when I hear that guy talk, like it's been out for a while. Like, this guy talks at like a 5th grade fucking level. And whether it's by design or whether it's just a force of habit or it's just been like natural selection, like this is what's worked for me. It's what he keeps fucking doing. This guy fucking sucked, man. I mean, it was like you're sitting in the principal's office and he's pointing over there. Well, no, she touched me first and she keeps taking my things. And I'll tell you what happens. If you let her back in that classroom, here's what's going to happen. She's going to take all my things. No one's going to learn anything. Everybody knows it. I was like, this is shit. Like, you're getting crushed, guy. Apart from the fact that you got these two jokers up there fact checking the shit out of you. And then you got this chick with absolutely canned fucking talking points. I did have my bets in that, yeah, this was rigged. Like, she had these questions ahead of time. And I have heard the argument that, like, well, what the fuck questions did you think she was going to be asked? Like, you know what the questions are going to be generally. But I do honestly think that, like, here are the questions, word for word. Here is the order they're going to come out. Prep as needed. And you're going to be all set. We'll fact check this shit out of him. We're not going to say a thing to you. So you just do what you want. And nature took its course. I mean, that ain't to excuse fucking Zion Dawn in any way, shape, or form. That guy still shit the bed. I mean, these 3 fucking balloon heads, and you want to complain it was 3-on-1. I don't know what the fuck to say to you, guy. Like, you beat yourself. But that's, again, another issue. So if your number 2 is this fucking moron, and she's been out there since, I guess, she gave a talk at like a black group, and it was, oh, child, oh, honey, baby, and like, oh, shit, I've been up in these streets, And then she gave a talk to some Latino group where she was like, oh, I love you too. Oh, my cousin Caesar, he's in the audience. Oh, hello. Hey, Casper, what's up, bro? Hey, homie, orale for the set, bro. It's fucking, I can't believe people buy this shit. I remember there was that one guy, and I can't remember this fucking guy's name. He was some Republican fuckstick, like some nobody that ended up not going anywhere. Maybe he was a senator. So, you say a senator is nobody, but I mean, you basically sucked enough dick to get yourself a job. But yeah, this guy was in somewhere in the South, like the deep South, and he's walking around, and he's like from New England or some shit, and he's like, oh yeah, I had family down here for a long. I got some kin lives up in these hollers somewhere. What the fuck is this? And they fucking make fun of him, like this is fucking stupid, but people must fucking buy it if these idiots keep fucking doing it. I don't know. I mean, it's like Hillary's hot sauce. I never go anywhere without my hot sauce. I got my hot sauce right here, right? I keep it in my purse. It's delicious. Look, I drink the fucking shit. I comb my hair with it. I brush my teeth with it. I love fucking hot sauce. Like, okay, yeah. The Mexicans don't care about the hot sauce. They care about free shit. Just give them free shit. They'll vote for you. You know this. Fucking stop it. But back to live action. So if this is your number two, like this is your chain of command, what's the last fucking thing in the world you want to have to fucking deal with is like a multi-front war. Like, holy shit. Like, not only do you got to like read and react to all this madness, you got the fucking Chinese wanting fucking Taiwan. And it ain't so much that we give a shit about Taiwan. We give a shit about having access to like Southeast Asia, Korea, Japan, all this shit. We want these people on our side. So if they look at Taiwan and they're like, you can't do shit for this little ass island nation, what the fuck are you going to do for me? Well, fuck you. Maybe I just throw in with China then, because this isn't a safe bet no more. Okay, now you're losing fucking friends. That neighborhood's off limits to you now. Nice fucking job. You got the Middle East. It's always been a fuck story. All right, it's always been a fuck story, and it continues to be a fuck story. Guys are still over there fucking slugging it out, and now you got this fucking broad out there. There are no fighting men. We have no conflicts. There's nothing going on. What the fuck? Were you busy doing a fucking three-way while all this other stuff was going on? Like, get with the fucking program, bitch. But you got that, and then you got the thing with fucking Israel where, like, well, and not to mention fucking Ukraine. And it's been pretty much old news that, like, yeah, dude, some of the shit they're using, all the U.S. weaponry, the Western weaponry, you can't use that shit without a support staff of Western people there to show you how the shit works, to make sure the shit is updated and functions properly. It's like your fucking car, man. Like, you got to install fucking updates in your car. Like, you used to be able to just get in and drive down a fucking road. You can't do that now. Same with this shit, right? You got to have support staff there. That means Westerners. That means NATO's involved. So, I mean, and now you got Israel like, yeah, we're going to do whatever we want. How about that? Man, will you please not do that right? You could do it. Just don't do it right now. Yeah, no, we're going to actually just do whatever we want. How's that sound? That's what I pay you for. That is why I pay you. So I can do whatever I want. I want the land. I want to invade Lebanon. Go the fuck ahead. Right? So if you've got that, and then this thing with Ukraine that came out where they're like, Ukraine is jockeying fucking hard, like, hey, let us use these fucking missiles, dude. Let us use like the fucking Storm Shadow missiles and this shit and launch into like Russia proper. And Russia has said, like, plain and fucking simple, if you do this shit, we know that means that you're fucking helping them. They're using your weapons with your help. That means you're in the fucking fight. Do you want this fucking fight? And the U.S. is saying, like, point blank, no, sir, we don't want any. We don't want that shit. And that's a reasonable fucking argument. Because you could make the argument that, like, yeah, man to man, maybe Russians are silly and fucking stupid, but there's a fuck ton of them. There's a fucking fuck ton of them. And who wants this fight, dude? You going to fucking go over there and freeze your fucking dick off so you could fight somebody over some shit that ain't yours again? Like, fuck this. No. And now at the end of the day, you got to try to sell all this shit to the American fighting man. And let's not fucking get conflated here. When we say the American fighting man, we mean the fucking capable white man. Because there ain't no soul brother, there ain't no fucking Hispanic panic coming up from the South to take the jobs that Americans won't take. They bring critical skills. No, fucking ditch digging is not that critical of a fucking skill. All right, fucking behave. So if you're going to try to sell this shit that, like, oh no, we need to go fight in fucking Ukraine, man. Why? Because we pissed off Russia, long and short. So they're going to roll into Western Europe, and then we have to fucking back Western Europe. Otherwise, we're Han Solo out here. So now what are you going to fucking do? You got to sell this shit. So we need you guys rogered up. We need you signing up. Go fuck yourself. I ain't fucking going over there. Like, who the fuck's going over there? So two things will happen. You're going to end up with a very incapable force. And at the end of the day, they fucking know this, man. Like, anybody on the front lines, like, all the bullshit aside, Like, they do drag you in there and make you sit through all this shit of like, Tyrone to your left and right there, and Pascal over there across the way. Jose, he knows what he's doing, and DeAndre Ladavius, that just moved in from fucking Haiti, had something else to get on. He's very capable too. They're all just as capable as you. You have no right to look down on that man. He's very capable. He's a good soldier. Okay, cool. Like, if you keep saying it's not going to make it fucking true. And everybody knows that. So if this is the fucking game you want to play, now you're going to get these clowns and you're going to go over there and you want to laugh at fucking Russians. Like, oh, look, these assholes ran out of gas. These fucking conscripts. Look at these fucking idiots bumblefucking around in the bushes. You want to laugh at that shit. Wait till you see Tyrone out there. Like, dude, I've seen some wazoo fucking shit. Like, downrange, like when, the shit goes a little bit pear-shaped and like everybody on base you got to get your shit, get ready to rock and roll just in case, Salahuddin is coming over the fucking hill with a gaggle of horsemen. Like, you need to be ready to rock and roll, so get all your shit. And you see guys jocked up and like, what do you got on, man? Like, your shit's all wonky. You look like a goddamn gypsy camp running down the road. You got shit flopping off you. Your gun's fucking dragging in the dirt. And it's basically like you got an intro to this shit. You don't know what the hell you're doing. And these people have learned, like, as much as they're going to learn. Like, you could fucking cycle through this shit for the next year, and they're still going to look like that. They're still going to be a fucking mess. You got stuff hanging off you. I've seen some dudes that are like, you got 1 or 2 trips outside the wire, and now they got a knife up here on their fucking shoulder, like you're going to be walking through the bush in Vietnam, and like, I need this thing so I can draw it out quick and stab me some black pajamas. Like, okay, cool, man, but how you going to shoulder your fucking rifle with a big fuck off knife right there, next to your fucking ink pen pocket, next to your fucking pocket protector? How you going to do that? Oh, fuck, dude. Bro, I don't fucking know. I'll just, I'll make it work, bro. Like, okay. You make it work. I makes it work, man. Ain't you gonna try to tell me I did my saw and told me it was cool? Okay, yeah, knock yourself out, man. Enjoy. So I don't know how that would possibly work out. So with all that shit on your plate, like, why would you not like hit up, all the people that you've been paying all this time? They're like, yeah, I know you got a picture of me with, a dead girl or a live boy or whatever it is. But I pay you money, man, and I do you right over here. Just do me this solid and wait 6 fucking months. Well, no, I don't think we will. Like, fuck, dude. Like, you can't get any fucking help from you people. So that shit cracks me up, dude. And I love watching it, man. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Slow motion train wreck. I'll drink it in, dude, every day of the fucking week. But also in this same, whatever the fuck you want to call it, this same arena of bullshit, these Jews with this, dude, what is this exploding pager shit? It's hard to make out completely, and I think that some of that is by design, but I do have some thoughts on this. So one, the immediate thought, and I think the one that they're trying the hardest to pitch is that there's some kind of way that these Israelis are doing some kind of hack and some kind of update signal that makes the battery overheat and it just explodes. Like, we know who you are and we're just going to make this thing fucking explode. So a couple things on this. Like, one, I think you have to keep in mind from the very, very start that unless you are seeing something that is actually happening right in front of you, or hear something, hear about something happening from someone that you trust, what you have to consider is that I don't see an exploding pager. I see a story about an exploding pager. I don't see a story about a bunny ears liquidated terrorist on bunny ears. I see a story about a liquidated terrorist. I don't see a guy getting blown up with a 10-year-old walkie-talkie. I see a story about a guy getting blown up with a 10-year-old walkie-talkie. That's the first fucking thing. First and foremost, cannot forget that the press, especially in this country, but in the West in general, obviously in Israel, but the press is a fifth fucking column. They serve a different master. They are not here to give you a straight fucking story or to help you out or to enhance your understanding. They are here to fuck you around. They are here to make you believe what they need you to believe. First fucking thing, okay? Second thing, looking at the possibilities here, like how could this possibly be done? One, like the idea that you can blow up a walkie-talkie with some kind of an RF signal. Like, so far as I'm aware, and there's a couple people I want to check in on and get their take on this, but I don't know how this is fucking possible. And I mean, I've been around. I mean, I ain't your radio guy. First, I'll tell you that, dude. I was never a radio guy. Didn't ever want to be a radio guy. Still don't want to be a radio guy. I don't want shit to do with it. But I've been around enough of them and had to train on enough of them that I have never once heard of like, hey, when you have this radio turned on, don't have it near that. Or when, you know, like the big fuck off radio at the compound or in Humvee is on and transmitting, don't have this shit turned on or don't have that shit turned on because it'll make it explode or some kind of shit. I've never heard anything like that. We did, and it ain't no secret, we did have like jammer deals that would pipe out like whatever freak, you know, Hodges radio was going to be on or was typically on, so that if they were going to try to talk to each other or they were going to try to light off an IED using such and such frequency from like cell phone or radio, that it would jam that shit up and wouldn't let it do. So with all that shit in mind, I have never heard of a deal where, yeah, you know, you pump out this frequency in this kind of a way and it'll make whatever the fuck blow up. So like, why is it just making, and if that is the case, like let's do imagination land. And if that is the case and it does work like that, well then how the fuck do you know that you're not blowing up somebody's car stereo? You know, like some woman's driving her kid to school and like kablam, like the fucking car blows up. How do you know that you're not blowing up you know, drive-through window? Somebody's driving through getting fucking Haji McDonald's and like kabam, Haji McDonald's blows up. How do you know you're not doing that? You don't know that. So if you're just doing like random bombing attacks, basically, right, indiscriminate fucking bombings, how is this not terrorism? But you say like, oh, we're only killing terrorists. Okay, well, you're going to their country, not really targeting specific individuals. All you're doing is blowing up fucking stuff. Like every time somebody pulls up to this traffic light, whoever's in front, well, we're pretty sure it's always going to be a terrorist, so that first car is going to blow up at that traffic light. Okay, how do you ensure that? Bottom line, you don't. So if it is what you say it is, well, then you're the fucking terrorist. And, you know, hopefully that'll come out as this UN thing rolls along. Second, if it's not that, then what is it? And this is where we start to get more back into the realistic approach to what probably is or isn't going on. So I looked at, and I put it up in the chat as well, like this thing from Edward Snowden, a bit of a leftard, you know, in a lot of ways, but, you know, kind of to be expected from the soft-handed sort of dude that he is. But the dude does have a lot of solid takes, and I ain't gonna lie, like I will say that in the context of leaking some of the extremely wazoo fucked up shit the government was doing, that the guy is a hero, because, you know, prior to him doing that, if you would have said like, hey, you know, the government can just listen in to your conversations, they can track you, and like if they decide they're looking at somebody and you're in any way connected to them, like 2 or 3 people connected to them, they're going to be looking at you too. So, you know, that you could just be a nice guy, but because you know somebody who knows somebody who talks to somebody that they're looking at, now they're going to be collecting your information, logging all your calls, reading all your emails, are going to do this shit. People would say, like, put your fucking tinfoil hat on. That shit would be saved exclusively for Alex Jones. But because of Edward Snowden, we know that, in fact, yeah, they do that. They are doing that. And if you're doing it to me and you're listening now, Fed guy, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I digress. Back to live action. So Edward Snowden put out this tweet and he was talking about, yeah, this is probably not some kind of a deal where they're transmitting some kind of a frequency or some kind of a thing that makes the battery overheat and explode. If it was, you'd see a lot more shit. Like I saw a few videos and a few pictures of like, yeah, this is what it looks like when a battery overheats or a lithium battery gets fucked up or goes off the rails and it catches fire or blows up or something. And it's usually like, it's not all of a sudden, like it's there and then kabam, it explodes. Like it starts to get real fucking hot. It gets fucking wonky. It expands. It deforms. It catches fire. And then maybe some of it blows up. But what it doesn't do is like take your fucking eyes out while you're looking at it, right? It doesn't take part of your leg off. And like kablam, there goes your ass, there goes your balls, right? I'll get your foreskin at any cost, goy. But what would do that is like a small amount of explosives put into these pagers, walkie-talkies, whatever, somewhere in the production process. So I saw some analysis of this earlier on, and they were talking about, and I don't know if this is, I don't know how they figured this out. Like there's, anytime there's an explosion, I'll tell you this about explosions. Anytime there's an explosion, there's ways to figure out what it was, how it worked, all this kind of shit, especially if it doesn't go off what you call high order. So I guess real quick on a rabbit hole on explosions, what they are, how they work. An explosion is essentially a very rapid burning of a product. So what you've got when you have an explosion is something that is burning, but it happens so fucking fast that it releases all this energy at once. So instead of just fizz, 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 burn, 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 like maybe a piece of wood or something, it happens boom, like super fast all at fucking once. So it releases all of this energy, and that's where you get that explosive effect. Also, too, with this kind of a thing, some of these things, it's not as simple as like the product that they are alleged to have put in these pagers is called PETN, PETN. And this stuff, you have different ways of dealing with some of this stuff. Like if you think of C4, the plastique, like they say in the fucking movies, what they're usually using, like I don't know, what do you call it, like fucking silly putty or some shit, like just jamming shit into it, like here it'll blow up. It doesn't fucking work like that. So there's like what they call an explosive train. So you've got to have something that's like very sensitive, right, to get it lit off. That stuff will, it'll light off easier, but it doesn't pack as much punch. That has to be connected to something that has slightly more punch, but isn't quite as sensitive. So maybe you wouldn't have been able to get it to light off. That will actually then finally connect to, say, something that has a whole lot of punch, but won't actually light off as easily. So something like C4, you can actually set fire to this stuff. Like dudes would tell us this, like the survival thing, like you can actually use this to burn as fuel. Like you're out in the bush or some shit and it's cold as fuck and you want to cook some soup or some shit for whatever reason, and you have like an explosive charge, like maybe a claymore or something. You crack this thing open, you can use a little bit of the C4 that's in there, light it on fire, and it'll burn. I've seen it fucking do. All right, it actually works. What you can't do is like smack it with a hammer. Like you hit it with a hammer, it'll blow up. Blow the fucking hammer up, blow your hand up. You won't be happy you did that. So this C4 then, it functions kind of in its own, with its own kind of personality. The way you get that to light off, though, it's not so easy to get it to light off the way it's supposed to. So you've got to have something connected to it, and then something connected to that to make that whole explosive train, as they say, to make it function properly. Anytime that explosive train is not set up properly, it's not going to go what we call high order. So it's not all going to light off the way that it's supposed to. It's not going to explode the way it's supposed to. And it's going to leave remnants, bits, pieces, and so on. So with something like this pager situation, that's a very, very small product. And that means that it's probably going to be difficult to get it all to function the way that it's supposed to. So in a strictly technical sense, looking at this, just the fact that they were able to get these things to light off, right, the way that they were supposed to. And who the fuck knows, like, how many of them went low order, meaning like it only part of it exploded, or, like when a shot goes low order, you'll hear, like, you should hear like whack, like you hear this fucking boom, and then you feel this shock wave. When it goes low order, it's kind of like the thunk, and you're like, oh fuck. And now you're going to have to walk out here and pick up pieces of explosives and shit for the next 2 hours. It fucking sucks. But just the fact that they were able to get this thing to work was actually, in a technical sense, it is impressive. But what appears to have been the case, based on like what Edward Snowden is saying, and from what this one story I read was saying, was what they used was something called PETN, so PETN. And this is a more sensitive explosive, so you wouldn't have to have so much of an explosive train in there. And again, unlike, like an application of, say, C4, where you're trying to blow through, say, a metal door or something, because that's what this shit can be used for. PETN, this is a little more sensitive, but it doesn't pack as much, like not quite as much punch, all right? So something like petting, this would be slightly easier to light off. And how you would do that, I mean, that's somebody else's cup of tea. I'm not your technical guy on that. So I don't know, probably like on a timer or some kind of a thing, like an internal timer that they managed to fit in there, and then have some kind of a small detonating device attached to the battery where it counts down and then it lights off the device that lights off the petting. That would give you, the result you want. What it would not give you is a way of knowing for sure that it goes off in the hands of the person that you were meaning to blow up. It also means that, like, if you're putting this shit in there at the production level, it means that you don't actually know who's going to end up with this thing. You got no fucking idea. So what it kind of leaves the door open for then is the things on a timer, or maybe some kind of a situation where, like, you can send a certain code where, like, a fuck ton of these things are rigged up. Maybe there's probably people walking around there with them now. But like maybe some code gets sent and that's what activates this timer and then it lights off. I don't know if that means that it would only go, like, maybe there's a shit ton of them, because I'm willing to bet that let me back up a little. What Edward Snowden was talking about was that this looks like infiltration at the production level. So while these things are being produced, somebody gets a hold of them and is like, here, let me just add this little piece right here. And then somehow that gets in there and that shit gets sent out. What that would mean then is if you give out all of these pagers, so who the fuck knows who they go to? Maybe a cab driver, an Uber guy, a DoorDash guy, some kid. So his mom could say, hey, quit fucking around, come back to the house, right? These things get distributed out. Now, maybe somebody says, okay, pager number 12345, that belongs to Shake whoever the fuck, and that's a guy that they want to blow up. Okay, pager 12345, we sent it this code, and now we know that an hour from now, 2 days from now, this thing's going to blow up. Again, I think that's the way, like, an America would do it, to avoid any kind of insinuation, like, you're just blowing up fucking random people, man. That's not cool. All right. I think that is the trouble that, like, a U.S. would go to. If I was putting something like this in place, I know that they would come to me and be like, how do you know you're not going to blow up somebody's kid with this? You blow up somebody's kid, we're going to be fucking unpopular. And you'll stand in front of the man. You'll answer for it yourself. So I would have to say, like, yeah, dude, let me idiot check this and let me double, triple check this. Like, how do I know, the thing beeps in the other room or some shit? Because there was a lot of them with people who got their eyes fucked up, and that says to me, like, it beeps, you pick it up and look at it, kablam. So it kind of begs the question, like, okay, dipshit, how do you know the guy doesn't have it on the kitchen table? It beeps, his old lady or his kid is like, hey, dad, your beeper or whatever. And now, boom, the kid fucking blows his hand off, blows his eyes out. Like, that's fucked up. You're going to be unpopular doing some shit like that. But again, we're talking about Israel here. So as per, they can usually kind of do what they want. And, they appear to be just doing what they want. The other side of this is this thing where they're talking about, but there's stuff that's like 10 years old that's doing this too, like walkie-talkies and shit. I don't fucking know that, man. One, I don't fucking know that. And two, I don't think it would be a real big stretch to do something like, say you're a fucking Mossad guy and you go, you've got some fucking asset that you caught, being gay, stealing money, watching porn, whatever the fuck it is you can use to leverage these people. Because obviously, like, a Mossad, you're not going to be able to leverage nobody on ideology. Like, nobody's on your fucking side. Everybody knows this is fucking bullshit. So how do you get somebody to do what you want is going to have to be leveraged. So whatever it is you do to leverage some guy with any kind of proximity or access to a Hezbollah organization or a cell or some kind of shit, and you say either one, find a random walkie-talkie. I just need a couple, dude. You bring me one. Some other guy working up the coast is like, you bring me one too, and that's going to be the op. We need to get old-ass walkie-talkies in here. Get a couple of walkie-talkies. Get them in there. Arm them up with whatever this same kind of bullshit device is. And this, I think, has got to be like a timer kind of a thing. Like, you're going to set this thing for such and such time on such and such day. And, that then for my money would coincide with like this beeper situation. So again, that makes me lean more towards it's just on a timer. It's not something you assholes put any real thought in terms of like who is this going to fuck up? I don't know. The benefit here then would be like, you bring this thing in here, I'm going to put whatever the fuck it is in this thing. It's going to go off in, a week. I don't fucking know. You just take it back, put it back where you got it. Another model of this could be like, you bring some shit out of storage, just get your hands on some old shit, leave it in the street someplace. Maybe somebody picks it up and is like, oh, this probably belongs to the dudes. Hey, did you guys drop this? I saw it out in the fucking street. Maybe somebody's like, I don't know, give it to me, man. I'll ask our guy, and just takes it and now puts it in there with the rest of them. Where did this come from? I don't fucking know. It's probably yours. It's like the others, or it's similar, or I don't know what it is. Maybe we just hang on to it. Maybe we could use it for something, all right? Now that blows up, all right? But now it becomes like, well, this is 10 years old. At this point, it becomes very, very easy for that fifth column to use this and say like, oh yeah, dude, they must be using, just an RF activated thing, because like this one's 10 years old and it just blew up out of nowhere. Whoa, it's fucking crazy, right? That's how powerful these Mossad dudes are. I mean, this is the magician's assistant kind of thing. Like, you're helping, you're not trying to reveal any kind of truth. You're out here assisting with the illusion. So that's kind of my 2 cents on this thing. And I think I'll say if we did it, it would be called terrorism. If we did it, it would be called indiscriminate targeting. It would be called a lot of fucking things. What it would not be called is fucking military genius or any kind of shit like this. It would be called highly uncool, highly fucking uncool. And for my money, quite honestly, man, in most situations, I would say like it's not cricket. It's not cricket. If you want to do, I will say like, if you want to play the genocide game, you want to play the fucking genocide game? Let's do that, dude. Let's play that fucking game. I'm not going to fucking fund you no more. You fight your own fucking fight. If you win, you get to smoke them all, take all their shit, steal all their land, enjoy the fruits of their labor as you do. And I'm going to look at you the same way. You got some shit I want. We're coming to your place, dude. Once you've monopolized most of the banking and the wealth and the resources on the planet, then, you imagine to yourself that you've got the world by the nuts because you have pieces of paper with signatures on it, or you have pictures of people doing shit they said they would never in a million years do. Okay, good. At some point people are going to get over that shit. And if you want to play the fucking genocide game, you want to play big boy fucking rules, and cool, guess what, dude? You can take your fucking signed contract, you can take your blackmail material, shove it straight up your kosher ass, dude. And then we'll fucking see how the shoe looks on the other hand. And when we show up and say, hey, your shit is now my shit. Oh, but the rules, goy. Oh, decency, goy. Oh, mercy, goy. I thought we were allies, goy. No. That fucking ship has sailed, my good friend. We're playing the other game now. We're playing big boy rules. We're playing natural selection. We're playing you're the fuck out of here. So for my money, that shit is a matter of time. It's a long fucking wait. It's a hilarious fucking train wreck though. And, whichever direction, whichever way it falls, it does appear that it is falling. So we'll see how it all pans out. Apart from that, man, more closelier to home, some of this domestic shit, and the only real interesting things I've seen of late, I mean, it has been like wars and rumors of wars for a while here, but one of the only two interesting things I've seen, like one is obviously the Haitians eating your cat type shit, which to me is just, I guess the hilarious part of it is that, like, one, how does this surprise anybody, right? How are you looking at this in surprise? Like, if you look at the history of Haiti, it's been like no end of help being offered to these people. Like, everybody reaches out, tries to help them. Everybody does for them. Everybody gives them stuff, and then they set it on fire or rape it or shit on it or whatever. That's fucking Haiti in a nutshell. I mean, there's a gigantic fucking wall between Haiti and the Dominican Republic for a reason, right? A pretty good reason. And it's not just like, I just woke up one day and I just decided some random racism. I'm going to hold you down, Holmes. Like, they're building Major League Baseball players and they don't want these Haitians interrupting things. So it is what it is. But yeah, Haiti, dude, like that place fucking sucks. Like if you don't know the history of it, and I don't have the exact dates in front of me, and I'm way too lazy to look that shit up, but it was like a French slave colony type situation. But they started giving these people more and more liberties in the 1700s, and then there was a massive slave revolt, and the deal was basically like kill every white person on this island. And you know what, I would have to do it justice and look up like what is the complete story on this situation, but I know that there was like a lot of liberties being given, a lot of assistance being given, a lot of like, okay, maybe this wasn't the greatest idea we ever had. Maybe, you know, cut these people some slack. Okay, look how that fucking worked out. So essentially killed every white person on the island, and then kind of their, I don't know, what would you call it? Like their ensign, their slave revolt flag, if you will, was an impaled white child on a stick. All right, that was their their flag, if you will. So it kind of gives you an idea of where these people are coming from. Since then, there's been I don't know how many pumps of aid and help and outreach and what have you to fucking Haiti. All right, and it always ends the same way with like these people shitting in the street, killing each other, eating each other, and what do you get for it? Nothing. So now this most recent thing has been this deal in Springfield, Ohio, where, I mean, among other places, I mean, I guess there's some places just got a whole shit ton of them dumped off in Pennsylvania as well. But I guess the deal in Springfield, Ohio was that they were trucking these idiots in and having them work these factory jobs and talking about like, well, yeah, but you know, these people don't, you know, they come to work. They come to work like I need them to. And I had a guy that was, you know, yeah, he had a drug problem and somebody else was showing up late. Here's my thing with this is that, yeah, you could say a lot of shit. You could say, well, these Haitians show up on time and they do their factory job. You could complain that these Haitians will eat the pets out of the park. The ducks in the park are free. You could take them. They're just free. I have 453 ducks. Whether you think these people are quality people, whether you think these people are complete shit, which, you know, if I was laying money on this thing, I'm going to lean towards the complete shit camp, obviously. But whatever you think about it, that's not the fucking point. The point is they don't fucking belong here. America is not a fucking free-for-all. It's not a place to just show up and do whatever the hell you want to. And for that matter, neither is any country. You know, I think if you had to say that any country was like, it's just a place where you could just show up and do shit, America is the closest thing to that because it is one of the more recently founded countries. And I think in general you could say that the original populace of America, and I'm not talking about the tent dwellers of several hundred years ago that were cruising around on horses, fighting each other, living under tents, like they were all fighting over this territory too. Europeans just showed up, fought better, we won, you lost, and you got a fucking casino out of the deal. So I'm not going to hear any of that bitching. But I will say that the people that showed up here, there was a diversity of European people. Right? Not a diversity of people. It's not open to every shithead on the planet. Not like this Statue of Liberty, this Hebrew, what was this, Emma Lazarus bullshit. Give me your wretched refuse. Give me the worst fucking people you can come up with and send them over here. That's what we're about. What's this we shit, Hebrew? Yeah, no, it's not what we are about. That's what you are about. You are about fucking up my country. It's not what we are about. In fact, if you read the founding document, if you read the Constitution, my Constitution, right? But it does say, it's right there. It's right fucking there for ourselves and our progeny, right? It's not for who the fuck ever. It's for us. And when we say us, we mean us. Like who us? Like, well, who was fucking signing the thing? So whether that's people of English descent, German descent, Irish descent, Italian descent, asterisk by the Italian. But, you know, and maybe even some French, some Spanish, whatever. But seriously, if this country is the closest possible thing to something you could call like a land of opportunity, show up, try your luck, nonetheless, it's not for fucking you. It was designed by us, for us, in a way that suits us, not for every shitheel that comes down the fucking block. So even if these Haitians are the greatest thing since round wheels, the most innovative thing since sliced bread, just can't live without them. Too fucking bad. Even if they are the worst thing since AIDS, even if they are the dumbest sons of bitches, the most violent people, whatever the fuck, that too is not the reason they should not be here. Long and short, they should not be here because it is not fucking theirs. It is not theirs to just hand over. This is not theirs to just these people inviting them in. This is not yours to fucking invite these people into. Oh, I need workers. Increase your fucking wages then. I mean, it's the weekend, right? Turn on the fucking TV. You'll see people doing a job that men are lined up around the fucking block to do, running full speed into other grown men, lined up around the block to do this job. And why? Because it pays millions. Now, if whatever that factory job was, if prices suddenly doubled, or wages suddenly doubled or tripled, bet your ass that people would be lined up to do that job. That ain't going to happen, though, because some guy that is quite probably making a real nice piece of money off that is going to say, well, no, it's going to cut into my profits. That's going to cut into my fucking yacht money. I don't want you fucking with my yacht money. Well, guess what, dude? Like, you can afford yacht money because you hire fucking Haitians. Construction guy can afford yacht money. You know, that's not everybody. You know, you work in construction. Maybe you're even a foreman. I understand you are not making fucking yacht money. But that guy at the top of the pyramid, if you like, that guy's sitting on yacht money. All right. And that gap is getting wider and wider. And why? Because we're making this fucking argument. We're debating this idea of whether or not a Haitian or an illegal Mexican is a better employee or a more worthwhile employee or deserving to be here or a bad influence or a criminal influence or any of this shit. I will say that none of that shit matters. It don't matter because it ain't theirs. You're just plain not supposed to be here. Whether you're better or you're worse, you're not supposed to be here. Right? It's like I go into the office or something. I bring a lunch. You brought a lunch. I look in there. I'm like, I think I'll just take your lunch. Well, what if the lunch I brought was actually better? Oh, who gives a shit? Your lunch was sitting closer to the fucking thing, so I'm just going to grab your lunch. Or I look in there and your lunch was actually better. I'm just going to take it. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter if the lunch I left you is actually fucking filet mignon. It doesn't matter if I'm ripping you off because I pissed all my money away. It doesn't matter if I'm ripping you off because my ex-wife took all my money and I only brought ramen. And you got something nice, so I deserve a nice piece of lunch once in a while. None of that shit matters. It does not matter because it is not my fucking lunch. All right, you go around eating people's lunches, you're going to end up with 5 across the fucking eyes before too long. And that's what we're looking at right here. This business of people either just showing up or being brought in. And we're having this conversation about, well, who deserves what? And maybe they're actually better employees. I'll tell you. I mean, this is the most boomer fucking argument. I'll tell you, they got a work ethic, you know. I see them get out there. They're busting ass. And these lazy American kids, why? You can't get them to do anything. Why the fuck would they do anything? You going to go out there, straggle and struggle, work next to fucking criminals so that you can get what? Get some broke-ass fucking wage that you can't possibly fucking live on. You get on the fucking ladder like you're not even invited to the ladder. The whole bottom half of that fucking ladder is occupied by the third world. So like, what kind of fucking argument even is this? But I digress. So yeah, man, this Haiti thing, one, it's fucking bullshit, but two, it is fucking inspiring, you know, to see that in America and definitely like across Europe, Western Europe, like I see in the Netherlands, seeing in Germany, that they're talking about, yeah, you know what, not just no more immigrants, like this is our fucking country, we're fucking taking it back. So, I mean, if America is, you know, the closest possible thing that you could call to like a bunny ears, like land of opportunity, come and try your luck. But we know that it's not really like an open door thing, like just show up, dude. No, it's not fucking that, dude. It's for us, by us, yeah? If America is the closest thing to that, then what could you look at like a France or a Netherlands and a Germany? Like you look at that, like this place is very fucking exclusively, this is a phenotype. This is a kind of a person. It's a person that's from there. This place fucking belongs to them. If you want to deprive them of it, well, then maybe just come right out and say like, oh no, we're going to war. I'm taking your shit. Okay, well and good, but now you're going to have to expect them to fight back, right? And I don't honestly know how well, you know, Hodge and his 13 kids and his 3 fucking wives and his fat fucking ass and his hookah habit, I'm not sure how well that would actually go against a German war machine. Even, you know, Germans with fucking slingshots because they sent everything else to fucking Ukraine. I still don't know that I would want to try my luck if I was just fucking Hodge. You know, you get out there with your fucking machete, waving your arms in the fucking street, yelling about Allahu Akbar. Yeah, try that shit, dude. Like, it's happening because they're letting you do it. They're not letting you do it because you're stronger. They're just trying to obey the law, dude. And it's starting to look like pretty soon that shit's starting to wear thin, you know? So hopefully that gets interesting in a hurry, but I digress away from the more domestic situation. Like the other cool domestic thing I saw, I don't know if you could even call it cool or it's hilarious, it's ridiculous, it's a barrel of fucking monkeys, I don't know, was Gavin Newsom, man, in California signed this thing with, like he's outlawing, I don't know, what would he say, within 30 days of an election or some number of days within an election, AI produced misinformation. So I don't know if that's like you're showing me like some of those cool reels that get put out where it's like Donald Trump with a gold AK or Hillary Clinton like walking along with a Bugs Bunny bomb or some kind of shit, you know, crazy shit. I don't know if he means, you know, specifically like that, or, you know, if you were going to say, because I mean, I got to look through like the lawyer's eyes on this shit, right? To say that, like, okay, you say AI produced misinformation. There's two components to that, right? AI and misinformation. So when you say AI, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean like I'm using like the fucking photo editor to pull Hillary Clinton or something out of a photo and put her in an image with like seated on a white couch with 5 guys standing behind her, like 5 Africans, right? 5 Haitians standing behind her, right? Is that AI misinformation? Did this picture actually not take place? Or that makes it information and you use this editing shit, that means it's AI related somehow because AI plays out. Or maybe you got to prove to me that it's not AI, right? And then the other part of that is the misinformation component, whereby it becomes this question of misinformation is what? Oh, well, anything that's not true. Okay, who decides what's true? We will decide that. Okay, so basically anything you decide is not true, anything Gavin Newsom says, this is not true. The truth is over here, and you're saying something else. I decide what the truth is. It's like this judicial notice thing. No, we've already decided. You know, this is the fact, and you can only argue from that perspective. So if they've already decided what the truth is, and now it's on you to convince them that somehow AI, bunny ears, wasn't related, you're basically by default a criminal, no matter what. So if you make a fucking meme, even if it's, you know, largely points at the truth, which, I mean, really, in most cases, what is a fucking political meme? It's like a fucking political cartoon from in the day, you know, like from way back. I mean, that shit's been out there a long, long time. But this guy is basically outlawing it, you know, and that's not to say that like, oh, we don't mean it like that. That's not the intent. Don't read into this. Dude, we have to read into it, don't we? Because I mean, Christ, look what they did to Ricky Vaughn, dude. I mean, and they didn't even have this law in place, and they drug his ass in there, gave him time. So now, if this is the law of the land, now you make some fucking meme and any kind of editing, any kind of whatever the fuck, you know, you put fucking words up there. Oh, that's AI, you know, involved right there. It takes a degree of artificial intelligence to make the letters go the way they go. And I decided it's untrue. Okay, are you on the hook for some kind of crime now? So basically, you put yourself in a spot where you're outlawing memes, right? But the kind of interesting thing to me on this is kind of, it's almost reflective of the way the shoplifting shit in California works, where it's like, yeah, it's only a crime if it's more than like $950 or something like that. And then they get, you know, ticky-tack with these fucking laws, and then it's like, well, who the fuck's following this anyway? Because you look at the people running fucking wild. Look at these Africans running in and out of these fucking stores. They just take whatever the fuck they want, and down the road they go. So if that's the way it is, then it's like you're going to make a law against something like this. If it's like everybody just, oh, I don't give a shit, I'm going to do whatever I want. It sort of begs the question then, well, are you going to try to enforce this thing? Or is this going to be something that's on the books that you're just going to have to like, you're going to have to take the L on this, that like, I can't really do shit about it. Or, and this just occurred to me, is it sort of like what you see about, say, prostitution laws in Southeast Asia? Because I think we talked about this before, like prostitution in like Thailand is technically illegal, but it goes on everywhere. So what that essentially leaves the door open for is they can just come and crack your fucking head whenever they want and say, well, hey, this is against the law, what you're doing right here. You're like, yeah, but everybody out here, you could say, is doing this. Yeah, but I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about you. So if this is how this goes, now it's something everybody's doing, And they're like, yeah, maybe everybody's doing it, but I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about you. And now you're like, fuck, dude. And now you got the state of California up your ass. And, I don't know. If you're still in California, that's really, I mean, if you live in California, dude, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. And maybe you're just rolling those dice at like, yeah, nothing bad's happened to me. Or maybe you don't have kids, or maybe you don't have a job that you have to show up for, or maybe you don't really encounter diversity or traffic or whatever on a daily basis. But even with none of those things on the table, to me, a place like that, a place like New York, a place like Portland, I mean, shit, a place like Dallas, a place like Houston, like, you're rolling the fucking dice. Dude, really, any major U.S. city at this point is like, you're rolling the fucking dice. But like we've touched on a couple of times in a couple of these episodes, the question, comes up, and I see dudes talking about it in the chat. And I mean, I talk about it off and on. It's like, what the fuck do you do? So I think in that sense, I got to say, like, what do you do? My 2 cents right now is what's the smart move is just to like hunker down and kind of wait. Like, if you see opportunities, go for opportunities. But otherwise, it's like, I wouldn't say move to here, move to there, invest in this, plan for that. Make sure you have 3, 4, 5 of these things. I'm not saying anything like that. I would say, especially for people with limited resources, man, you can't afford to jump too far one direction knowing that like the ship might tip the other way. And now here's you with your dick in the wind. Like, well, perfect. This is exactly what I needed, right? So to that end, yeah, man, I think looking forward, especially for like the next 2 months until this election thing wraps up. And who knows, man, we might be at war by then, because like I said before, like if I was Iran or Hezbollah, that would be the smart money, is to hit while the election thing is going down, or in that kind of state of flux, and nobody can really decide who's going to be in charge or who should stay in charge or take charge early or what the fuck. So that's what, if I was going to do it, that's how I would do it. But, who the hell knows, right? Who the fuck am I? I'm just some idiot. But, yeah, until next time, man, that's my prediction. And until then, I've had about as much as I can stand of all of this. I've had it. I fucking had it. I'm out. So, do feel free to leave this someplace where people can find it. And if you got takes, you got thoughts, you got a, hey, Coffee, look at this shit over here, man, and consider this shit. Dude, pass it. I like that kind of thing. Otherwise, until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, keep your neck out of the noose. And I have been Coffee. These are my takes.